What's up, everybody? This is Dylan and Ryan here with episode 16? Yeah, 16 of Next on Deck. Sorry, we've missed, what, has it been 2 weeks now? A week? I don't know. No, we're losing track already. So we're back here with another episode. We're going to be talking a lot of NBA today. Going to be trash talking the Jazz a lot because, we've both had our disagreements with the Jazz. I don't know why I have my AirPods in. And then we're also going to be going to NBA trade deadline, seeing who's going to get dealed. And we're going to go over a lot of other stuff today. So stay tuned. But first off, we'll start with the NBA draft deadline. It is quickly approaching, and there are a lot of names that have been in the rumor mill of who's going to get traded. There are a lot of teams, like every year, on the verge of the playoffs or being, on the verge of being championship contenders. They'll for sure make moves at the deadlines. A lot of players could be traded. A lot of them have been rumored. We'll go through a decent amount of players, and we'll say what teams we think they're going to go to. But the first name I got on my list is Lonzo Ball. I don't really get this one. I'll be honest. I don't get why the Pelicans would want to trade him here. He's a very good young player, and I don't know. I feel like they might be in a tough situation though because of they're like on the cusp of the playoffs. They seem like they got a good roster. I don't know. Ryan, do you think they should trade Lonzo?
I don't see them getting anything out of Lonzo more than they're going to get with him keeping him.
Right.
I see him going to a team and being a really good sixth man, but that means they're not going to get much trade value out of him.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it'd be worth it for the Pelicans at all.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he just doesn't have – I mean, I think this is, the best Lonzo we're going to get. I don't see him really getting any better than he already is. So I think the Pelicans would be kind of disappointed with the trade value they would get for him. But if they were to trade him, the couple teams I see him going to, I could see the Bulls, I could see the Clippers, and I could see the Knicks because, the New York media, and they got a ton of cap space, and they're always looking for exciting young players. So, Ryan, what teams do you see Lonzo going to?
I don't know. It's so hard for me to see him going anywhere else, but I agree. I think the Bulls would be a really good team for him to go to.
Yeah, and it's tough too because they got Kobe White and Zach LaVine, so you would think they would already have good enough guards, but they're still in the rumor, mill for Lonzo. But we'll see if he gets traded. I don't think he will be, but our next player we got is Andre Drummond. He is kind of one of the bigger names when it comes to the NBA trade deadline and rumors and all that jazz. So there are a lot of contending teams that I think need Andre Drummond, and I think the Nets are the obvious one in my opinion, especially because they traded their whole roster to get James Harden and their future. And obviously the Celtics, they always need a big man. That's been their biggest problem, since Kevin Garnett left. And the Bucks might be a sleeper here. I mean, they got Brook Lopez. He's a good shooter, but I mean, can't hurt to have one of the best rebounders in the game alongside Giannis. So I don't know. I don't understand the Cavs situation with Drummond anyway. I feel like they're kind of a contending team in a way, to be honest, because I think Colin Sexton has improved a lot this year and is really kind of carrying this Cavs team, but they just don't want Drummond, and I don't know what they're going to get for him. I can't imagine much.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if they get him to the right team, they could get a good bid out of him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be really team specific on who needs him. My top landing spot for Drummond would be the Mavs. I think he would be the key that they need. I feel like obviously they're a good team, but they're not a great team. They kind of rely on Luka to do everything.
Right.
If they had somebody like Drummond there to help them with rebounds and just be a big man, I think that would be a good piece for them.
Yeah, and Porzingis, he has been a kind of a big question this year. He has really regressed defensively. Offensively, he's still a great scorer, great player, but Drummond is way, way better in the paint, and Porzingis just has not been the same around the rim. So I don't know, because he's another. He's actually next up on the the list of names we're going to go over, but I don't know what the Mavs will do with him. I don't know if he would play alongside Drummond or, they would just trade Porzingis, then use a little bit what they got out of that trade to get Drummond. I'm not really sure. I don't know. Porzingis, he's just he baffles me. I don't know. But so, like I said, Porzingis is the next guy up. Like I said, still a young player, can run the floor offensively, can be a great option for a team that needs scoring. And I think one of those teams is the Nuggets. I don't know how he's going to fit in with Michael Porter Jr. and Jokic, but I think the Nuggets would be the top team to get Porzingis here.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see him going to the Nuggets. I think a good team would be the Jazz, just because obviously Gobert isn't very good on offense.
Right.
So if you could take his defense,
Yeah.
Porzingis' offense, I think it'd be a really strong duo.
Yeah, for sure. And Gobert is not an all-star, and in my opinion, and with him being your second best player, even though the Jazz, they aren't really struggling offensively this year, mainly because their three-point shooting has been lights out. The whole team, I think, is shooting like 40% or something like that, which is crazy. But I just don't see the Jazz being contenders, finals contenders, with Gobert being their second best player. So I think they do need to make a move here. They definitely have the depth to kind of, trade a little bit to get Porzingis. But I think another team that could kind of go for him is the Suns. The Suns, also another surprising team this year. They're in a good situation with the lineup they have, so I won't be surprised if they don't really change much. But I think Porzingis could make them finals contenders and, kind of contend with the Clippers, especially him and Ayton in the paint. That'd be kind of scary.
Yeah.
So we'll go to the next guy we got is Kyle Lowry. I feel like I don't know how I feel about this one. He's got a huge contract. The Raptors have kind of picked it up lately. They've definitely become more of an option in the playoff talk here. But the Sixers are definitely rumored to get him, as he is born and raised in Philly. So, and the Sixers have always been kind of in the mill to get him. So I guess the Sixers would probably be my top team, but I don't really see any other team going after him, to be honest.
I don't think he's something that anyone really needs per se at this time. So I don't know. I don't think a lot of teams are going to be pushing real hard to get him. I mean, I think the Sixers would benefit if they had him, but also it's like, I don't know that they need him either. I mean, it's like kind of if it works out kind of thing for me.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know how he's going to fit in with the Sixers because, I mean, obviously Ben's not a traditional point guard. So, and, Tobias is back to his natural position at power forward with Al Horford gone, which this season has really proved to be, his pathway to success. But I don't know why. I don't know how he would fit in. If Ben would play the 2 and Danny Green would play the 3, and then Seth would come off the bench. I'm not sure. I just don't think Kyle Lowry really fits into the Sixers scheme. So I think the Raptors will end up keeping him, especially, because, Raptors fans love him. And, with them trading DeRozan, I think they're still unhappy about that. So I think Lowry stays in Toronto, but you never know. We'll see. The next guy I got up is we've talked about him before. Our boy Bradley Beal. He says he's happy with the Wizards, but I don't think I believe him, to be honest. He has a crap ton of value. It is insane right now, considering that he leads the league in points. The Wizards could get a lot out of Bradley Beal, and I think they should take advantage of it now while, because his value can't get any higher than it is now. So, Ryan, what teams do you see Beal going to?
I mean, I think the Heat would be a good team to pick up Beal. I think they need that one more player. Obviously they were a good team last year. They have a little bit of changes this year, but I think he would help them kind of rebuild that where they were before. I think that's one of my top landing spots for him. I also see him not leaving. I mean, I feel like the Wizards I don't know what they're doing right now, playing some weird games between Beal and the Wizards. It's real confusing at this point. Yeah. I don't know if maybe this just all kind of just show and they're just going to end up keeping him anyway, but I don't see how they would benefit from that. I feel like they would be better off kind of getting a lot of people over to rebuild from him.
Yeah, I think so too. Because like I don't think Beal and Westbrook together could lead that team to a championship, especially with like the East picking up. Like they just don't have the depth that other Eastern teams do. So I don't know. In my opinion, they should not keep Beal, but I've heard the Celtics being an option for Beal, and that kind of weirded me out a little bit. But I mean, it makes sense. That Celtics team would be pretty scary if they got Bradley Beal. But the problem with the Celtics is I feel like they don't have enough bench depth as it is to really trade for a guy like that. So I think they should focus more on the bench, especially because they already got a great starting core of Kemba, Brown, and Tatum. So I don't see the Celtics making a big push for Beal. But obviously you never know. So the next guy I got, former teammate of Bradley Beal, is John Wall. Now, the Rockets have been kind of in denial lately. They say they don't want to rebuild, but I don't see why they wouldn't want to. They have one of the worst records in the NBA. John Wall, he's still a good player, but he's he's averaging 20 points a game. He's got like almost Mahomes money at this point. He's making $40 million a year. I just don't understand why the Rockets would want to keep him. I mean, I guess it's because they might not get as much out of him, but I mean, I think the Rockets should try to turn John Wall, and one of the teams I see him kind of going to is maybe the Knicks. I mean, they got a lot of cap space to obviously pay for Wall, and they are desperate for stars in New York. So I could see him going there. But Ryan, is there any other teams that you see making a push for him?
I think the Knicks would be the best option for him. I think right now he's worth as much as he is now as he's ever going to be. I mean, he's kind of like he's getting a little older. He's playing well, so he's kind of got good trade value there for that. And the Knicks kind of just, I mean, obviously rebuilds don't work for them. Stars don't work for them. They might as well get someone who looks good now to maybe pick up some money.
Yeah, true. Yeah, nothing. Like we said before, nothing ever works for the Knicks. But last guy we got is Wall's teammate now, Victor Oladipo. He's made it very clear that he does not want to stay with the Rockets, as they have tried to extend his contract multiple times. But again, I don't. I feel for Oladipo. I understand why he wouldn't want to stay in Houston. I wouldn't want to stay in Houston if I was in that situation. So I think it would make sense for the Rockets to try to trade him. But Oladipo hasn't had the greatest season. He's definitely regressed a lot since his good years with the Pacers. But I think he still has value on a good team. So Ryan, what teams do you see going after him, if any?
I think he'd be a good fit for the Heat. I think he would do well down there. That's where I see him going personally.
I think it might be a little tough because Oladipo, he's only shooting 32% from the three-point line this year. And the Heat, obviously, as we saw in the finals last year, they were pretty big with shooting. So, I don't know if I see him going to the Heat, but in my opinion, I could definitely see the Raptors maybe making a move there. They don't really have a superstar to kind of lead them. As we've seen, Siakam cannot lead that team. He's just not good enough. He can't create really his own shot. So I could see Oladipo going there, maybe adding a little star power to that team to maybe put them in contention. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm very excited for this NBA trade deadline, especially with the Sixers actually finally being like an actual finals contender this time. We'll see what kind of moves they can make.